Allies, hit the enemy, and we shall win.
Hey guys, Veebat here with another V-Plays, taking a look at the Spitfire V. Now the Spitfire V is a Tier 6 aircraft, despite Spitfire in the name, so don't be deceived, but this aircraft is going to be a fairly competent fighter, and I may be underselling that because the entire Spitfire line, well, not the entire thing, but all the Spitfires are going to be very versatile airframes. They can operate at relatively higher altitudes, and even outside their optimum altitudes, they still seem to hang fairly well. They have an 8-second boost, they have great engine power, and they have spectacular maneuverability. On top of that, really good firepower, especially starting at this tier because you get 2 Hispano cannons in addition to the 4 Mark 303, or the Browning 303s rather. Now at the next tier you'll swap out those Brownings for 50 cal machine guns, giving you a little bit more oomph on the guns and a little bit more reach. But when you get to the Spit 14, that's when the game really starts to change, because this aircraft is going to get 4 Hispano cannons, and that's why you see a lot of those flying around the battlefield. Now you see how quickly we're able to turn around on these aircraft, and while I only have 2 cannons at this tier, it's enough to be able to knock out these airframes fairly quickly. And anytime it looks like I'm getting into trouble, I just turn around on the airframe. Granted, these are bots, or just air defense aircraft even, but we'll put this thing in a more precarious situation later, and I'll show you what she can do. Nice thing about the Brownings is that the Brownings actually do have a bit of oomph on them, or a little bit of shouldn't say an oomph, they have an added bonus of being able to light people on fire, and that's really going to be able to kind of kick things over just a little bit. Now we're going to make our way over to the enemy airfields, that way we can either contest it or get into a direct fight. Something you'll also note on the bottom right, usually I like to keep my zoom on my scope zoomed out, but with a dogfighting aircraft I tend to zoom in and I don't hit the alt button as much, except to confirm that an aircraft is a particular type and to see which direction the arrows are going, so that way I can confirm if an aircraft is vectoring onto my tail, so that way I can turn on it. We do currently have a multi-roll inbound. He is at a bit of a higher altitude, but we should be able to get up there and put some shots on target. And as you can see, that 8-second boost is allowing us to be able to get up to a spot where we can engage him. We're going to let him go past because we are in a turning fighter, and we're going to get behind him and then start letting the guns sing on this P-47. You have to be wary though that the cannons are the ones that are turning red, showing that you're in range, but they overheat fairly quickly, so you're going to have to make sure you kind of temper your trigger, or show a bit of trigger discipline in order to make sure that you're not trying to kill things at range with Browning machine guns, because that's just not going to work. Okay. Oh shoot, Captain Underpants is up here. So this is what I was talking about before. I said that this aircraft has a weird ability to climb up to higher altitudes that you wouldn't expect, and here I am engaging a Tier 7 bomber at altitude with a turning fighter. Now, granted, Captain Underpants had me dead to rights there, but if I had a little bit more situational awareness, I might have been able to vector onto him earlier, and you can see we got him fairly low. Little embarrassing there, but let's go ahead and get back into the fight here and show what we can do against not a B-17 rolling through the middle of an engagement zone. Now, if we were in the Spit 14, we would have been in a way better situation, and we would have had the damage potential to probably take him out, since they would have been equal tier. Or sorry, the Spit 9 would have been equal tier, the Spit 14 would have been a tier above. Again, we're above our altitude, but I'm not having too much of an issue getting behind and then staying on the tail of this P-47 Lightning. Again, being careful with the trigger discipline, getting those guns on target, and then taking that airframe out. Looks like they're going after this bomber flight. Let's give a hand here against this bomber. Okay, took it out. Let's find a different target. We are trying to contest for this zone. Just waiting for him to make a mistake and come back into my web. Just a little bit outside the envelope for us. Let's try and go for the middle. We want to try and win this game, so let's get a little bit more aggressive here. You have stalled out, sir. Probably didn't even need to go back for him. It looked like he was on fire. Every so often I'm checking that mini-map on the bottom right, verifying that I'm not putting myself into a spot where I'm going to get engaged. But unlike a 0 that is very turny, I'm not going to have as much of an issue with getting knocked out as quickly because we do have quite a bit of hit points for the tier. How did you survive that, sir?
Regain these positions immediately.
That's kind of a good thing because we get to turn back and go after a relatively easy kill there. If we're going after that airfield.
You'll soon be cut off from support.
And I do need to get capture points for this stage of the 2 or 3.
Centers are under our control. Communication with the headquarters established.
I don't think as a team we're doing too bad. Yeah, I see you shooting at me. Look at this, we're catching up on a P-38 Defender. P-47 again, higher altitude. Let's see what we can do to get up there and harass him just a little bit. Okay, we got some help here. Pi 88, that'll be a challenge. We are just on the cusp of stall speed here. Shouldn't be staying here, but I think we have enough damage potential to take out a fairly thin-skinned 88. He says, as he flounders. Good thing I got a 109 up here to give me a hand. I'm going to go ahead and get back down to lower altitude. In fact, I think I'm going to start heading over towards that airfield like we talked about earlier.
Victory is in sight. Keep it up.
Even with a death, we're already up to 10 aerial kills, 4 while defending. These guys are going to have it before I even get a chance to come over here. Yep.
We have complete control of the skies.
Easy enough. Solid team over here as well. These guys did a great job.
Attention all fighters. Enemy bombers detected. Destroy them.
Oh good, they did grab another site. Okay. That airfield will come back up, but I don't think we're going to get there in time to try and capture it. We'll burn our boost now, because by the time we get there it should have regenerated. And the aircraft isn't slow either. That's the other nice thing. You're looking at an aircraft that's cruising along at about 300 miles an hour. As a turn fighter, that's pretty good. That allows you to be able to really get in here and do some serious work and be dynamic on the battlefield. So that's one of the things that usually stinks about being in a turn fighter is you're relegated to the first zone you go to unless you really want to dedicate the travel time to go to another, so there's an investment there. This thing loves going after multi-rolls. Alright. Throw up a GG. Thank you, Captain Underpants. Let's go ahead and go back to the end results screen and see how we did. Again, I feel kind of dirty flying this aircraft because it's a very easy airframe to get used to, and none of its weaknesses are so glaring that it really is something you have to play against, if that makes any sense. So if you're in a heavy fighter, you know you can't turn. If you're in an turn fighter, you know you don't have speed or altitude performance, but this seems to have enough of each that you never find yourself really wanting. And even though in the back of your head, you know, I'm a turn fighter, I shouldn't be up really high, you can still get up there and do just fine. So as you can see here, 11 aerial kills, 5 while defending, number 1 on the team, made some good experience and some good credits. I have not been getting below 3,000 experience. Granted, we're premium, but it's just been working out pretty well. Now let's go ahead and show you something else here real quick. So this was a good battle, but I've been flying this all morning. There's another battle. Next battle. Next battle. All of these are Spitfire. Every single one of these. So they're not even a one-off. So we've been doing spectacular in this airframe, and it's been consistent all morning. In even times when we're up against an XP55, and this was a specialist P39Q, and they put up good scores, but we were able to overcome the challenge with this airframe because it is so versatile. I just put him in a different situation. If the XP55 seemed like he was trying to do a hard turn fight, I kept him in a sustained turn fight. The P39Q, I took him out of plane. He's really good at making a horizontal turn, like turning in a full circle, but I started maneuvering and taking him out of that plane a little bit and getting in behind him, and you know that he's experienced in it because he's specialized in the platform. So just goes to show that the Spitfire is so versatile that if you're a new player and you're looking for an aircraft line to go down, I'm going to recommend the Spitfire line, and I think a lot of people will echo that sentiment. But be aware that it does change drastically, and a lot of people don't like the Swift, which is the Tier 10. But as far as Tier 8s go, this is going to be one of the strongest lines to get a very strong Tier 8 aircraft, and I'm sure somebody will post in the comments either echoing that sentiment or telling people to not get into Spit 14 because there's already enough of those things flying around, because it is definitely an aircraft people get into just to try and eke out a few wins or try and get an ace or a winged legend, because it really is a very strong and versatile platform. And at least get one and try it out, and I think that you'll understand how the Spitfire works, so when you come up against it you can try and counter it, but again, no glaring weaknesses. And that's kind of the problem I think that I have with the Spitfire, is that there isn't a trump card against it. Like, there isn't a way to say, okay, I'm going up against this threat, what's the right way to approach it? And there isn't really a right way to approach a Spitfire. You either kill him on the first pass or you're done for. Catching him by surprise is definitely going to be advantageous as well. But again, you guys decide. Let me know what you think. And here it is, the Spitfire. I'll catch you guys on the next one.